Hello and welcome to another episode of the Co-Opticast. This is episode number 85 for April 9th, 2012. I am Mike, and I am joined by the usual gang of miscreants, Jason Love, Locke Vincent, and Nick Paleo. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen.
Oh, God, now say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night,
Gracie.
Excellent. It's been a couple weeks since we last talked to you, and a lot of stuff's gone on. So let's kick things off and talk about what we've been playing. And we're gonna lead off strong with Nick.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, I haven't been playing any video games. The only time I've technically fired up my Xbox is to exercise, and I've been playing Your Shape Fitness Evolved, and the men's workout sleeve busting lifting thing or whatever it's called.
Your abs ripped. He comes up to the Kinect and he's like, check this out.
Go big.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
See that's what it's all about. So
That's right.
So what is your shape right now?
It's kind of oblong, actually.
Still fat is what it is. So yeah, it was funny because I have the Raptor thing that sends me the weekly summary of what you've been playing, and it was like 15 minutes of Mass Effect 3, which I think I just let it sit at the menu. I never actually played. And then it was like an hour and 45 minutes of Your Shape Fitness Evolved.
Nice.
Oh, that's depressing. Because
you could be like me and have it say, you're an amateur in Mortal Kombat, but you are hardcore in Dance Central.
We're real. We're all real gamers.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, most of my time was just spent tweaking and programming and coding, and it was a stressful week leading up to PAX. Pretty hardcore, lots of late nights and everything else. So,
And was it worth it?
yeah, no, it really was. I got there Thursday night and actually got a hotel room outside the city on a beach, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
So it was a relaxing night and just play through some of the stuff and some last minute tweaks, because it was kind of crazy. Like literally I left my house at 11 o'clock in the morning and I was doing coding changes until like 10 before I decided to tear everything down and throw it all in my car and go.
Huh.
But yeah, so yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. So, but that's it. No games otherwise. I did finally play some Mass Effect 3 today, but very, very little.
15 whole minutes.
Yeah.
Agonized over one decision to make in it. Just couldn't do it. Jason, how about you? You're about as strong as I am in game selection.
I've been playing Drawsome, and
Draw something.
That's it. That is absolutely it. Work has rocked me for the past week. I've been in the office until just about 10 o'clock every night except for Friday night and tonight because I had this to do. And once again, I debated whether or not to set up a conference call inside of our big boardroom there, but...
and you told your boss, I got something to do. Peace out.
Peace
out. Drop the
Look,
mic.
Damn
I'm famous.
man.
I am famous on the internet. I gotta go do my thing.
Don't you know anything about me?
I am
a minor
Origami
internet celebrity,
Panther.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Locke.
Let's talk about real
Save
video
us.
games.
Save us.
This is
All
the
right,
most
well, that's
depressing
it for
we're
today.
Yeah,
doing
like,
We're out.
ever.
if people haven't turned it off in the 4 minutes we've been recording, I'm glad you've made it this far because I've actually been playing some cool stuff. Reviewed Warriors Orochi. Again, I can't state enough how surprised I was by that game. Again, we all think it's mash and A. It to an extent it is, but there's so much more. The payoff for doing that and the content within that game is so awesome. I was very surprised.
To be fair, sometimes you also use X and Y.
Yeah, you can throw an X in there. You can throw a certain. Well, I guess if I'm playing on, I was playing it on PS3.
Can you put
So-
down the Yellow Turban Rebellion? 'Cause-
Yes. Of
Do you
course.
fight Lubu?
But you can do this
As a samurai.
as a samurai, as a dynasty warrior, as any combination of them. You can do it as Ryu Hayabusa even. Like,
really?
yeah, he's an unlockable character, and it's
That's
really
yeah,
cool.
because he's owned by Tecmo Koei
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah, so that was really cool to do, and again, you just travel through time trying to save all these different heroes, and yeah, I for all the for all the shit I talked about the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors series for the last 10 years. I'm really glad that I was able to play this one because it's a lot of fun and it's probably the best Warriors experience to date. So
What was
I
the
think
last-
everybody gets to do a Dynasty Warriors game at some point in their reviewing career. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a rite of passage. 'Cause, I did Dynasty Warriors 7 last year, and we had a pretty good time playing that.
yeah, and
I
Do
will admit
not
that
mess
series
with
is one of my
Lubu.
guilty pleasures.
yeah,
What was
So-
the last Dynasty Warrior game that you played before this one, Locke?
2. So,
Really?
Yeah,
On the PS2.
it's been quite a while. Might have been
So,
even.
so for you then, that's quite an evolutionary jump.
Oh yeah,
I
it was
mean-
going from like tadpole to human. So like you're skipping a
Yeah.
couple steps there.
That belongs on the back of the box.
yeah.
From tadpole to human, 2002 to 2012. But
Yo, dog, if you haven't played a Dynasty Warriors game since 2002, you might be surprised.
who knew?
I have such a soft spot for that series because Jason and I used to play it all the damn time in
Yeah.
like local co-op
Yeah.
with like Dynasty Warriors 3 and 4 on the PS2, and
Yeah.
it was just it's a ton
I
of
really
fun.
love
So-
the one. I think it was 5 or 6 empires that had the empire subtitle that had the whole like strategy element.
Yeah.
Meta game. That was really
just
addictive
made
for
me want them to bring back Kessin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it does a lot of good things in the co-op. The one, it's not super annoying, but for any co-op mission that you want to play, you have to finish the mission first in single player, and then you can replay it in co-op. But that's okay because a lot of the missions you play 2 or 3 times anyways, and if you play them with different characters or if you do different objectives within the mission, you unlock different stuff. So it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter if you play it over and over again. They
Mhm.
it's really neat how they do it, and I found myself always replaying a mission to see if I could save a commander that died, and sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. So and it is super satisfying, and I've been saying over and over, like, this was the perfect game for me to play after Mass Effect 3 because the last 10 hours of Mass Effect I just plowed through, and I had this weird RPG hangover that I just needed to kill some dudes in mass quantities, and it was
I
it was a
just
lot
need
of
to
fun.
press A.
Yeah,
Just need to press A.
I need to press A, dress up these guys, and do some cool Muso
It's
attacks.
therapeutic.
Yep.
It's better than spending hours making penises in Soul Calibur or
Yeah.
something.
So don't count that series out. It's very good, and I actually went ahead and bought the previous one just so I could see what that was like, and it's really hard to
Orochi
find.
or Dynasty Warriors 7?
Orochi.
Okay.
I have all the Orochi now. I don't own any of the Dynasty Warriors games.
Dynasty
so,
Warriors 7 was really fun.
Yeah.
It
We had
was.
a lot of
Did anyone
We
play
had a-
Strike Force?
Yes, on the
Yeah.
PSP.
Was that any good?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's a little more over the top. I think it's supposed to be a little
lions and
closer.
tigers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shoot tigers out of your arrow or something. I don't know.
Well, there's like these giant.
That
you, like,
would be
fight
Borderlands
giant
goes
tigers.
feudal.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's $40 on PSN. It's download only on PlayStation, and it's really hard to find the disc version on 360. I checked a ton of stores where I live, and like no one's carrying it. So I'm sure American Amazon has it, but that's what you get for being up here.
Whoa, it's a party up in here.
Oh, Portal Party.
There's
Speaking of
some
that,
chiptunes going on.
that's right. Gears 3 DLC that hit, and it's the Force of Nature pack, the last DLC pack for the Season's Pass. And since I am a Season's Pass holder, I hopped into those maps. They've added 6 new maps. They've got a new, well, not a new game type, but the Guardian game type is back, where you have, as long as you have your commander standing, you have infinite respawns. Once the leader is dead, then you don't have any, your guys don't respawn, which is, it's a fine versus mode. The maps are really big and actually really well done. They all have a different sort of environmental effect that happens, so they're a little more dynamic than the other Gears maps, which I'm sure there's like 20 of them now. There's a ton of Gears maps when you scroll through everything, just selecting. And we played some Horde, we played some Beast mode, which is always fun. There's a new set of achievements for another 250 achievement points, so that puts Gears 3 up to 2,000 achievement points, which is crazy, and that's a ton. But
that is a lot.
Yeah, that's a ton for one game. But that game's, again, just always a great excuse to play Gears is more DLC and more maps. So that's a go-to game for sure when you have a bunch of people. If you want to do like Horde or versus against each other, or even versus against the AI is fun, just to learn the maps and see where everything is. So there's a cool Easter egg hidden within each of the maps on Horde mode. If you do end up checking it out, you can get a elemental sword cleaver in each of the maps, and you have to do like weird stuff. Like in Jacinto, one of the maps is Jacinto, and if you shoot 3 rain gutters to like hit the emulsion, it unlocks this sword, and you can use that to fight. It's really cool. But we haven't managed to unlock any of the other ones just because they haven't been discovered yet. So I'm curious to see what those hold. But again, sorry?
When you unlock those swords, then do you proceed to mash A a bunch and strike down?
Oh yeah, you just do this. That's all I've been doing.
I want to see Marcus's Muso attack. It just sounds like it would be amazing.
I think he would just like throw his chainsaw bayonet, and then I don't know, it'd come back and boomerang.
He actually turns into Bender and proceeds to
shoot lasers out of his mouth. Who knows? But that's the Force of Nature DLC. I'm sure, if you have a Season's Pass, check it out. And if you don't, then you're probably not interested in Gears anymore. But
sad.
Yeah, I know. Great game. And then, other than that, just a bunch of XBLA stuff I'm trying to clean up. So, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, unlike Locke, I was pretty light. I started playing East, the Oath and Felghana on my Vita. It's a PSP game. That's a really fun update of East 3, which was the like odd side-scrolling East game from back in the Super Nintendo. I think it came out on like the PC, Super Nintendo, and pretty much any other 16-bit system at the time.
Yeah.
It's a good fun update. It's like a little hack and slash action RPG, and it's kind of mindless. And then you fight bosses that are pretty challenging right from the get-go. If you're not careful, the first boss will just completely demolish you because he has some attacks that are a little unpredictable to dodge, and that basically sets the tone for the rest of the boss fights because they're all kind of like that.
The thing I remember most from the
was that?
The thing I remember most from the Ease game, because I played one, I guess it was back Ease 2 or something like that for the Super Nintendo, was here was your character, and like this was his sword, and basically you killed things by doing this,
just running into stuff.
Running into stuff. Yeah. So, and I kind of vaguely remember then the third one, and I played that, I don't know, last year or something like that, because I had nothing else to play. Really enjoyed it. I mean, but Mike pretty much nailed it on the head there with you come up against a boss, unless you've spent like the past 20 minutes grinding out levels to be way over leveled for everything. You're just kind of hoping that you get to your breaker.
Like, it definitely falls in the you will die on the boss until you've gained enough levels, and then you will beat the boss, which is a criticism I actually heard leveled at was the new Xenoblade.
Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles?
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles. One of the reviews I read of it said that if you you'll go up to a boss and you will just die no matter what you do, and then you will gain one level and suddenly win without changing your tactics. So
weird.
East is it's kind of like that, but it's pretty fun.
Just one more thing on Ease. It probably suffers from some of the old RPG tropes of
this is a complete ground up remake of it though.
But
so it's like
it's not it's not similar to the other Ys games because it's a different, it's an entirely different game. But that whole grinding for levels in order to pass this one point is a trope of the old RPGs like that.
Oh yeah.
Back in the Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest days, like you had to do that. That was the whole game, just to extend it artificially. So
I'd just like to say that the name of the game makes me want to rip out my tongue.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bit of that, but the nice thing about like the story is like really unpretentious. It's just like it just keeps going. Like there's no unnecessarily long dialogue. It just gives you enough to propel the story along, and I appreciate that. So I managed to get one of the new iPads. So I've been kind of mucking about with that, playing Draw Something with Jason and sending him very inappropriate photos or drawings, I should say.
Photos? What game are you guys playing?
I'm sorry, I'm translating some photos into picture form.
Yeah.
I did have a friend.
Move on to the next topic. Move on to the next topic.
I had a friend. He drew the word rondo, and he actually spent the time to painstakingly redraw the Japanese box art for Dracula X: Rondo of Blood.
All right.
And I was like, wow, it's literally. I was sitting there looking at it for like 10 minutes. Because he just like did it very painstakingly. I'm like, I have no idea. And then it started coming together. I'm like, is that what that is? I think that is. And eventually it turned out to be. So I enjoyed that.
Mike's
so let's
best
move
drawing
on.
ever was white.
Yes, my best drawing ever was white.
He did nothing. I sat there staring at the screen for a second, being like, when's Mike gonna draw the lazy?
That's such a dick move. Is just like leave the animation there for a minute and then start drawing.
I've actually had people basically do like stick figure animation because you can trash the drawing and it peels it away.
I thought about that.
So he'd do like a stick figure and he'd peel it away and he'd make it kind of do like 5 or 6 steps of animation. I thought it was really creative.
That's cool.
It's a game that it's a little bit, I think it's interesting. That's a little bit co-op to it because, unlike hang with friends or anything of those, there's not a competitive nature. Like you want the other person to guess the word and try and get as high as you can with it. I think that's kind of an interesting dynamic with it.
It is if they're playing it right, because a lot of times you get people that, I'm okay with writing words down as like a vague hint. But sometimes you get people that draw a thing and then they write the word. They're like, they draw Earth and then they write Earth under it. I'm like, yeah, fucker, I know what Earth is.
Welcome to Earth.
You're playing with the wrong people, man.
Yeah, well, I don't play with as many people as I used to.
Yeah.
I trolled Jason hardcore. I think he's a little he's a little shell-shocked after that one. Oh, the less said about
Would you
that,
like
the
to
better.
explain the joke to the rest of the class?
I will never look at a price tag the same again.
I might have drawn a Johnson.
Okay.
In excruciating detail,
with
with a price tag hanging off of it.
You are abusing your powers of your new iPad. So.
I know, it's like the 10-inch screen it just opens up so much more possibility.
Why does it have to be 10 inches? Anyways.
I don't know. Let's talk about news. So the new Game Informer cover was revealed, and will you stop laughing?
It's not me. It's Johnson over there.
Yeah. So the new Game Informer cover is revealed, and it's going to be Halo 4, and as always, leading up to a magazine release, all the stuff leaks out, and they'll talk about what's in it. So there's a lot of Halo 4 details, but the pertinent info for us is that Firefight is gone.
What?
And that there are no plans for it to return.
Nope.
However, there is a new co-op mode called Spartan Ops for up to 4 players in online campaign-esque missions, which is basically saying that it's going to be Spec Ops from Call of Duty. Kind of. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of Firefight, so hopefully this turns out to be really good. And
Firefight's awesome.
yeah.
When is the appropriate time to get mad and pissy about this stuff?
I'm really worried about the game in general. It's supposed to be this fall, and it's been like so under wraps. I mean, I'm guessing E3 is going to be their big like super reveal of.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till E3 to really
Pass.
I'm gonna hold my judgment until then. But
I've heard some things off the record, and it just kind of worries me.
Well, I really wanted to like Halo Anniversary, and I felt it was just kind of a hatchet job. In the end, I had a really bad experience playing it, and some of the way the multiplayer integrated was really weird. Like the the deathmatch was actually like Halo Reach,
Right.
and they slotted the old maps, but like the abilities were all it didn't work out as well as I think they wanted it to, and there was like. It was something that really specifically bugged me about, I really liked that they updated the art, but I don't feel that they put the same level of polish on it that Bungie did on, their art.
Mm-hmm.
So it was I knew I was playing Halo, but something about it just felt wrong. Like the entire time I was playing, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's weird. I always
Yeah.
look forward to, one of my favorite things is playing through co-op Halo campaigns.
Yeah.
Like the full story. It's as long as you don't have a tour guide saying, "Hey, this part's cool. Hey, this
Yeah.
part."
Yeah.
If you
I didn't actually play it in co-op at all, which is which is something I need to do eventually. But it was, I don't know, I was just kind of disappointed with it, and I really hope that 343 steps it up for Halo 4 because I really like the series and I don't want to see it go weird.
flagship series, that's weird to see stuff being taken out, but we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
So, praise the sun.
I am praising.
For those of you who are only listening, Locke is praising the sun
I am
visually.
praising. Always
Uh,
be praising.
Dark Souls appears to be coming to PC. And as usual, these types of leaks and rumors come from the covers of PC game magazines from various and sundry parts of Europe. In this case, it is Germany, the magazine PC Action. There's a Google Translate that I really appreciate.
PC
It says,
Octung. Sorry.
PC Octoon baby. So the quote is, "The stick hard console RPG finally conquered their PC."
Of
And-
course it did.
Yeah. So, but it's right there on the cover. It's pretty hard to mistake Dark Souls for anything else. And I guess it's going to be called the Prepare to Die edition, and there will be some additional bosses. And being a PC version, I bet it's going to get modded to hell. And whether they officially support mods or not, and it's probably going to be a delightful mess. But
It is
I
gonna
might give
be,
it I might give it another spin on PC.
It's gonna be absolute mayhem with mods, and people are gonna tear apart the online and just have big level 100 guys taking on level 10 guys. It's gonna be a wasteland. It's nuts.
I just hope for someone to hack together a play with the co-op partner I want to mod.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that'll happen. I'm
Yeah.
very sure that'll happen. But
Infinite white soapstone spawning. Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
curious to see if the additional content that they're putting with this becomes DLC or whatever they're going to do with the console version, because I heard that they weren't going to touch the console version. Now I have no idea what they're going to do, because they had some sort of announcement of DLC, like the Dark Forest DLC or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then they still have that stupid wall on Facebook.
Yeah,
that
the
they-
wall,
right.
the announcement wall, it doesn't have enough likes on Facebook, so people need to go. I clicked like,
Of course.
and
I won't
You know,
do it.
you
don't
won't
do it.
I'm not going to do it, no.
No.
Nick does not
Look at
support
him. He's
the
just,
idea
look,
of
he's
Dark
just like
Souls.
totally just like
Nick doesn't like good co-op
Okay.
PC games. Is that what it is, Nick?
No, I like good co-op PC games. That's what it is.
He's just like, I'm not gonna click no damn wall. Mr.
Yeah.
Gorbachev, you put that wall back up.
1 point for Jason.
Zing.
That's excellent.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Gears of War Exile, which is the rumored Kinect title that we really didn't know anything about other than a title, has...
I love the quote.
Yeah, the start of that article is pretty priceless.
Yeah, let's read it. Let's read it all out. So it's been
appropriate-
canceled, even though we
Wait.
didn't really know anything about it other than the logo,
You gotta
which I
read
think
an
was pulled from a
appropriate-
patent filing.
appropriate voice
Let's
here.
see.
Bad news,
news,
everyone!
Gears of War Exile, an unannounced game lacking any details other than this header image, has been struck down by the hammer of dawn.
Oh
It's been
my
chainsawed
yes.
to bits. It has ceased to be. And so on and so forth. So yeah, we didn't know anything about it except that it had a name and a black and white logo. But here we are reporting on it as news because we got suckered in. Because, sometimes you gotta grasp at those straws and something shakes out.
Because we were all looking forward to a Kinect Rails gear shooter, right?
At least,
Dude, I am
at least
totally
we're
looking.
honest.
I'm looking forward to that the Steel Battalion game on Kinect. I think that'll be amazing.
So I gotta since you talk about that, and I know I'll forget later. They had that demoed on the show floor at PAX East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people are playing it, and it's like the tutorial mode that comes up, and it has little hands on the screen showing you how to do things. Well, one of them, the hands just come up like this. And I just looked over, and there's the hands doing this, and then there's the person going like this out in the air. I'm like, I gotta just find some
Dust
booth babe to
jazz
walk in.
hands.
So that's to
Yeah.
clean the windshield. Windshield wipers.
I just wanted to take a booth babe and put him right in
Yeah.
front of me.
Yeah. It's do this and then motorboat. Yeah, it's kind of terrible, but I'm really looking forward to that because it has you're using the controller and then you're using the Kinect stuff for random functions, and I think that could be super interesting. And I kind of, one of my secret shames is that I don't own the original Steel Battalion. It's something I actually almost bought when it came out, and I didn't, and I'm very sad. But let's move on because I don't want to talk about hypothetical Gears games anymore.
All I'm
And,
saying is, I'm looking forward to the day when the actual move and connect is to hide behind your couch to take cover.
Hide behind a rock.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, as you may have heard, since we are on the internet, there's a bit of controversy about Mass Effect 3. A lot of people don't like the ending and such. We're not going to talk about that because they
We're
announced
talking hands.
free DLC for the co-op mode, which we all really liked. And so you get, it's called the Resurgence Pack, and you get 2 new multiplayer maps and some new characters, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But then there's a freaking Krogan Vanguard.
Dude, there's
and
a
Vanguards
gap.
are already committing themselves into battle, and the Krogans can headbutt, and it'll be amazing.
My
And
Vanguard will destroy all.
we have to get online and play it again because the number of people screaming for Tuchanka with Krogan battle masters running around will be amazing.
Now I have
there's some extra weapons and some new multiplayer some new consumables for the mode, but
I have a whole new XX Penis Lord XX character to create.
It's pretty cool that they actually added a whole new race. You can play as Batarians in the mode now, and as Geth as well.
Which is awesome. Geth
It's
engineer.
pretty, yeah, so Geth on Geth action is definitely possible. I'm personally digging it.
I got a website for that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it's called
this is-
cooptimus.com, ladies and gentlemen. So this DLC is free. It's been announced as free, which is interesting because Microsoft has kind of been weird about free DLC for games.
Yeah.
Specifically Valve games. I mean, Team Fortress 2 on or the Orange Box on Xbox is just a really weird thing. And Microsoft basically told Valve to pound sand when they said they wanted to offer free updates and all that. And here we are with not one but 2 pieces of free DLC announced for Mass Effect 3.
That's awesome.
They are extending the ending and giving it more context. And I'm just going to come out and say,
Don't spoil
that
it, please.
Post-credits, it's just going to do the Animal House ending.
That would be awesome.
It's like Garrus Vakarian,
Is Jim Belushi. He just
Yes.
pulls off the mask.
I wish he was John Belushi, but Jim's the only one available for
That's
comment
right.
now. But yeah, I get the feeling it's just going to be an Animal House ending where it's like, in the midst of the ending, it pans out and says, yo, this thing, yeah, this stuff happened later. That's pretty cool. I wouldn't expect it to change the ending in the slightest, and you petition signers in the world, I think, are fools to expect anything different.
Agreed.
So, let's move on. Also, the ending of that game is pretty great if you forget that the last couple minutes happened. Seriously, there's a point in the ending of that game where if they just faded to black right there, it ended perfectly.
That is
and
the
then they
extended
just kept
cut.
going.
Is that your Xbox grows a hand and knocks you unconscious right before the ending plays.
Yeah, so for Nick's sake, we won't say anymore because Nick hasn't beaten it.
It'll be like July at this rate.
Nick, just do what I did. Pull an all-nighter, stay up till 7 in the morning and finish it. It's really good for your body and your system.
I ended up beating it at about 1:30 a.m. One night. I said, I know I'm pretty close to the end. I'm just gonna finish it. And
I mean, just look at Locke. It's had no negative impacts on him whatsoever.
Seriously, totally coherent every day. But this DLC is not going to help my addiction to buying crates.
Spectre crates. So Locke, and be honest. How many times have you used Microsoft points to buy a crate? 0?
Yeah, I'd grind it out, baby.
Is that 3? I see Jason holding up.
Yeah.
I think
you paid real life money to unlock
there
a
is
crate.
no shame in doing that because I worked out the math. If you play on bronze, it takes you 3 matches roughly, 3 or 4 matches. Each match is 20 minutes, so you're saying you're getting a Spectre pack an hour. And how much is one Spectre pack in Microsoft dollars?
$2.
$2. So your time is worth what? $20 an hour. It's usually worth it to buy it with your hard-earned money.
Maybe your time's worth $20 an hour, sir.
It's pretty interesting. The Shoot Mini Robots guys, I talked to them at PAX East about that because they have a similar thing in their game where you can buy like the higher level guns.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to get it, and I asked him. I said, how's that working out for you guys? And he said, I can't give you any numbers. He said, but it's much better than we expected. So I mean, people spend the money.
You heard it
I will
first.
admit to doing it once, and only because I had that much in my points queue already. I'm like, why not?
You heard it.
I'm not going to add points to my account to buy shit in a game like that. But if I have the change, it's like all the Avatar gear I have. That's usually like me cashing in like the leftovers of a points purchase I made. So I think it's appropriate there, and it's in some ways it's kind of nice, but. Yeah, let's round out the news and talk about some. Well, we already talked about feudal Japan and the Yellow Turban Rebellion and all that. But
this time with Pokemon. This
time we're gonna do it with Pokemans because we have Pokemon Conquest, which is a mashup of it's a mashup of Pokemon and Nobunaga's Ambition.
Now, really. Hands up here. I gotta take an informal poll. Who saw this game coming?
Yeah, that's why I saw the Famitsu report a couple weeks ago.
I mean, seriously, how do they even think, oh, hey, look, you know what? We got this really awesome Dynasty Warriors series and Pokemon. Yeah!
No, you're not seeing it. It is 2 series where they can keep making the same games for 20 years.
Yes, that's what it is.
And their forces have combined.
I think what it is the guy who developed Dynasty Warriors and the guy who developed Pokemon were in a car accident, and they just had to fuse the 2 together.
So this is like the chocolate and peanut butter moment.
Yeah, exactly. You got peanut butter in my chocolate.
You got this is treading into some Rule 34 territory.
Oh, Lubu's only weakness is an electric Pokemon.
I always thought it was Squirtle, but
it's run. You cannot defeat Pikachu.
But like, this is kind of a cool sort of side series that Pokemon hasn't. At least I don't think has there been a turn-based Pokemon game, or not
All the
turn-based.
Pokemon games are turn-based.
Turn-based strategy game. I mean,
No.
yeah. So that's kind
the
of
mystery
interesting.
dungeons are kind of like the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon are about as close as you get, but that's more of a roguelike.
Yeah, and also for babies. This actually looks
fine.
cool. This actually looks cool.
Go play NetHack.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I think the only
It's
other
not for
turn-based
babies.
strategy was Pokemon Snap. There you go.
But I'm just saying, like, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, sure, whatever it is, but like this Nobunaga's thing can really bring some legitimacy to Pokemon. Come on, as a turn-based.
I don't think Pokemon needs legitimizing, sir. It's a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Yeah, but it's when would it ever go to a turn-based strategy game?
But it's clearly lacking legitimacy, Mike.
Hey, you got to catch them all. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm actually a huge fan of video game mashups. I really love like the Versus series, and I like the idea of Street Fighter cross Tekken, and Phoenix Wright teaming up with Professor Layton, and things like that. So I think this could potentially be pretty cool, but I'm not sure what to think of this at this time.
I think it's awesome.
Yes. So that's about it for the news. I don't think we have anything else that's really jumping out at me right now. So let's talk a bit about PAX East. Nick, you just got back from that.
I did. And,
How was it?
It was pretty underwhelming. The big thing was after spending a good chunk of my day there Friday, just kind of trolling around the show floor and doing a few laps, I'd say a good 50% of the content there was free-to-play games. And, like, you're talking League of Legends probably had the biggest booth there.
That game is huge, dude.
It is.
And then you had things like the World of Tanks folks / Wargaming, Firefall. Those were probably like the big free-to-play booths. But then there's like a ton of like free-to-play MMOs. Like there's the Neverwinter game, a game called Terra. The one
Friend of mine is the community manager.
I was about to say that.
the one that Tally was reporting on today. Name eludes me. It started with an R. Raiders or something like that.
Raiders, yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough.
And it just, I don't know, like it all just starts to blend together for me. There's some that try and do some different stuff. Like I think Firefall like stands out as something like you'd look at that. Though then you have Tribes was actually another big one, right? That's another free to play.
Tribes Ascend.
Yeah, it's just they're everywhere, and I think it's doing something interesting to the industry, and like it's kind of inserting itself smack in the middle, and then it's pushing the indies kind of down, and they're forming their own little niche down here, and then it's pushing the AAA titles up, and then a lot of those like studios that would do kind of like middle tier stuff before are kind of migrating over to this free to play kind of thing. I don't know. It's just it was really, there just seemed to be three distinct groups there of games, and it's what I just said. AAA games, which was basically Ubisoft and 2K. They competed with like Borderlands, and then Ubisoft had Ghost Recon and Far Cry 3. Like those two were generally pretty packed. Sega's Aliens Colonial Marines did okay. The Rockstar booth had Max Payne 3 there, and it seemed pretty underwhelming, like in terms of like how busy it was. Not a lot of interest around there. But then you had all those free to play things then too, and then you had indies, and there was a good strong showing from indie devs there. a whole bunch of indie devs pulled together and got what they called the Indie Games Mega Booth. I think there were 16 indie devs together in this booth, which was pretty huge. And then there was also the PAX Indie Showcase.
Is that like the PAX 10?
Yeah. The Boston one is a little bit different. I don't remember what the theme was this year. They usually do a theme one for it. But there was like 6 games in that. And then, and then there was just some other indie devs who went on their own. Like, I finally got to meet Arkin Games, Chris Park, from there, and I got to chat with him. Who I've chatted with him over email for years now, because he's a huge fan of our site. They make AI War, and they're coming out with a Valley Without Wind actually next week. So it was kind of cool to get to chat with him. But overall, like, I don't know, nothing grabbed me, nothing stood out. Like, I was like, oh my god, this was amazing. There was no surprises. I think the other problem is we're kind of in a transition year here. A lot of the AAA big studios are getting ready for whatever the next consoles are going to be. We're still kind of waiting on the Wii U. What's going on with that? There's the rumors of the next PlayStation, the next Xbox. It's just
and we just had like the Vita launch, so all those games came out. And there's not really anything been announced yet.
The only Vita game I even saw there was the Mortal Kombat one that was coming out. Like, very few booths even had any upcoming stuff for that. But like some of the bigger one, like Square Enix booth was pretty underwhelming. They had like one of everything, and that was kind of it. Microsoft's booth was a Connect Fest, and
Always.
no, seriously, like nothing but Connect stuff. And then they did have a really cool arcade title. Oh, the name's gonna elude me.
Majestic
but
12?
it looks like Shadow Complex meets Limbo, but it's set in like the zombie world. Absolutely stunning looking.
That sounds awesome.
Crap. Yeah, it's called.
Did you see the sort of stealth action ninja game from Clay?
They were stuck like in a corner, and they had it playable on one screen. I think they had like two screens set up.
That was looking.
And I watched
sweet.
it for a little bit. It looked kind of cool. It looked pretty early still.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I didn't actually get hands on with that.
Was there any any hidden gems? You said there was no surprises, so I'm assuming no. But like,
that game I was just talking about, I didn't actually get to play it because there was a pretty big line. But that, I don't know where that was. It was coming It's coming this summer in XBLA. But it's a game you just sit back and you look at and you're like, holy crap, that looks amazing. It's very, very stylized.
Right.
That's reminding. What was the game that we saw last time we were at PAX East? That was like an arcade title that really wowed us. I'm trying to remember. It was like a Shadow Complex-like game.
I don't even remember.
Is it called Deadlight?
I think it might be. Yeah.
Yeah. Deadlight looks pretty damn cool.
Yes. Yeah. This is the
cool. Sweet. No, I'm always curious to see what people's surprises are, because it's never something that you expect. It's always something you just, look at this cool thing. You stumble upon it, or someone tells you about it. And that's what I like hearing about from conventions.
This game right here, Air Mech, from Carbon Games, was pretty cool. That I didn't really have any interest to until I talked to the guys about it. And we covered it a little bit today. Right now, it's actually just a browser-based game. It needs Chrome to run because it uses the native whatever that's called.
Use like WebGL or something.
Yeah. But it's going to be a full Steam release.
Sweet.
It's a free-to-play game again, but it's cool because you play as this jet that transforms into a mech. And it kind of has all these RTS elements. When you're in a jet form, you can pick up units and move them around the map and stuff, and you can spawn into units and stuff. And then you transform into the mech, and then you can fight.
It's kind of
co-op in.
Sorry.
I was gonna say the co-op in it is just it's comp stomp, but I mean the whole game is comp stomp. There's no story or anything, so it's 3 versus the AI if you want to do that, and it's kind of like the multiplayer online battle arena games like League of Legends, where you have a base and there's some capture points, and then you got to try and capture the points to get to the other base to destroy it.
Yeah, it reminds me of Herzog Zwei. It's like that old Genesis game that you could turn into a mech in a plane. So.
Yeah. But it's by the guys that did Fat Princess, or some of the guys involved that did Fat Princess. And apparently this game was in place before Fat Princess, and they pitched it to Sony, and Sony didn't want it.
Wow.
So they ended up just putting it on hold, doing Fat Princess, and then these guys went and did this air mech. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I mean, I guess that was kind of one of my surprises. There's some other interesting ones. The indie games are the ones that really hold my attention. There's another one. Again, I'm sorry that I'm so freaking brain dead right now, but there's another one that's it's like a rhythm game that the idea of it is you have to. The story is you killed the final boss, and he caused basically a rift in the space-time continuum, and the only way to fix it. Yes, retrograde. Thank you. Yeah, and so you have to play the entire game backwards and undo all of your shots and your dodges. It's kind of a neat little concept.
And you play it with the guitar.
You can, you can if you want.
So it's like the first dishwasher.
Yeah, that was really pretty and stuff. I don't know if it has legs to it. Like it looked like it might get old, but it's an interesting concept.
When I played it last, the music was really good, which I think is a cool selling feature of it. Like really cool ambient techno stuff, which I'm into, and you really get into the beats, and you can see how the beats form from different, the different things you're trying to collect. That's like the hi-hat or the snare drum or whatever. It's a really cool game.
I guess the most fun I had, I had a few appointments I checked out. I checked out. Far Cry 3 was supposed to have something with a co-op mode. At least that's what the invite made it sound like, but it wasn't. It was a versus mode they had on display, and then I interviewed a dev and kind of asked him about co-op, and it was, I can't talk about that now. Blah blah blah.
Have I ever told you the definition of insanity? I was expecting co-op from a Far Cry game.
Well played, sir.
Indeed.
So that was kind of a disappointment. But what else I play? Firefall. I got to play a good chunk of that. They're doing some really cool stuff in that, in terms of like persistent world, dynamic co-op stuff. Like I think it'll be really good. I'm still kind of unclear as to what they're going to charge for. They're saying it's all aesthetic stuff.
We should just get a bunch of staff copies and hold our meetings in there. So we just have this 60.
Yeah.
Were they showing something other than the verses? Because last time we were there,
I actually got to play like the story. A bit, and so like it starts out, and you're checking out something, and then some enemies attack. But you can basically, in any mission, you can squad up to do stuff. But there's specific things too, like they called it thumper missions, and basically what it is, it's mining for minerals. And so you call on this big thumper thing, and it hits the ground, and it's like pounding the ground and mining the minerals. But every time it does that, it attracts enemies. So it basically turns into survival missions. You have to protect this thing while it's mining the minerals for your group, and survive. So I got to see some of that, which was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
No, Firefall is definitely looking solid. I'm in the beta now. I got to download it. It's like 6 gig.
How'd you get in the beta?
Because I played it at PAX. Anybody that played it at PAX got in the beta.
I played it at PAX last year, and I didn't get in the beta.
I kind of said to the guy, I was like, what was... We were told last PAX that the beta was going to start soon. He's like, oh, it did. He's like, we started last PAX. It's just been a closed beta. I was like, wow, that's teasing.
Yeah.
So I guess it's going to rapidly ramp up now. They just switched to a 24/7 beta. I guess before it was literally like a couple hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's kind of going 24/7, and then it's going to kind of ramp up. What else I play? A really fun game, Orcs Must Die 2.
Nice.
It's got co-op now. So Tally and I
very pleased about that.
Yeah,
that's something we skipped over in the news.
Yeah. So Tally and I got to play that. And there's two characters. There's a war mage and a sorceress. They play similar. The sorceress is a little bit faster, and she takes a little damage. A little bit, or she has weaker armor.
Yeah.
but they have a couple different abilities, like the sorceress. She shoots primarily with the staff, but her secondary is a charm, so she can charm an enemy for a few seconds to fight for you guys. The war mage has like a shotgun, and his secondary is like a grenade, like AoE kind of attack, kind of like you had with that bow and arrow in the first one.
Yeah.
They share a large chunk of the traps from the first game, but there are some unique ones to each character. The biggest thing I found that we played was like the level design seemed a lot tighter. The one level we played, it was a mine, and it had kind of 2 levels going, and the entrances, you could always see both entrances from any point. So like Tally might have taken the low road and I was taking the high road. Guys were coming out of both things, but I could see, like, if she was in trouble, I could get down and help her if she was getting overrun, or I could even cover if I had a ranged weapon, I could cover from up above, and things like that. So, and they added a lot of nice little touches. Like the mine levels had carts that were going through it, and you could actually change the tracks that the carts were on to hit the orcs and stuff.
Nice.
There's a lot of like how you could shoot the chandeliers down in the first game on top. There's a lot more of those kind of things around the levels you can use to your advantage. So yeah, overall, pretty impressed with that. It is coming to PC only, and I don't expect it to come to XBLA.
Did they have a reason for that at all?
Yeah, they were pretty. The PC community, I guess, is a lot bigger than the XBLA one for them.
So. I think it sold a lot better on the PC.
Yeah, that's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And those guys the Robot is like the weird like descendant of Ensemble, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So those are PC guys already.
Yeah.
So because I went to last PAX, how was Battle Block Theater this time? Or did you play it?
I did. We played a couple levels. I played it with one of the developers. The only thing I didn't like, and the only thing that kind of turned me off to it was the arcade cabinet, right, which was awesome, except figuring out the button layout made it confusing for me, right? Because the way some of the actions mapped didn't feel natural.
It's like jump on your pinky or something.
So I had to keep looking down while playing it, and in a game where you're worried about timing for your jumps and stuff like that, it's very difficult to play through. But it's really interesting in how it combines kind of like a platformer with a little bit of an action game, puzzle game, and the co-op stuff is cool. Like you could do stuff like your buddy can run at you, and you could basically like dwarf toss him across pits, stuff like that.
That's cool.
Did you get to try out any of the built-in griefing stuff? Because I remember when I played it, you'd have all those co-op moves, but you could do stuff like, like there'll be a ledge and you're on one side of the ledge and your buddy, because he tossed you over, but now he can't jump that far, so you have to like hold your hand out to grab him.
Yeah, they actually had a funny term for it. I wrote it down. Let me see if I can find it real quick. They called it co-optional.
Yeah, because there's really when I was playing it, they're like, he'll throw you across the pit, and then you get onto the other side and you hold your hand out for him, and at the last second you just let go and watch them fall into a pit of spikes.
Damn, it's time to register a new site, cooptional.com.
The whole game seemed like it was based around like griefing your pals as you go through.
It's a really zany idea. Like when the guy was like, okay. I said, I know, I've seen it. I said, why don't you run me through the story? He's like, okay, so there's this evil hat that traps you in a theater filled with evil cats. I'm like, okay,
sold.
You gotta put on a play for him. He's like, but you can upgrade and customize your guy. We have 2 forms of currency: gems and yarn. I was like, yarn? Okay, that makes sense. He's like, well, it's to bribe the evil cats.
Nice.
Okay. So it's just like it's really off the wall, some of the ideas and stuff. But
you act surprised. This is coming from the developers that had a poop-propelled deer in Castle Crashers.
I think some people are going to be kind of surprised in terms of, like, the style of it is a little plain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
at least on the surface, it's like Castle Crashers. You look at it and it's instantly like
Pops.
recognizable.
Yeah.
Like everything in Battle Block kind of looks the same until you see it in motion and really like kind of feel it. It's interesting that like they said that there's going to be hundreds of customizations available for your characters. You can customize the head, the body, and the legs.
Dress up your dolls.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Well, what's cool is if you unlock stuff and you don't want it, and you see something somebody else has, you can actually trade unlocks.
Oh, that's good.
Which is pretty neat. They said that there's gonna be that many and it's gonna be hard to get some of them or whatever.
Nice.
So they implement an actual like trading system for that. But yeah,
That's cool.
I mean, it seems pretty cool. I personally, I'm not a big fan of platformers. I just get too angry. I want to like them, but usually
you should never play Rayman then.
Rayman I found would like Super Meat Boy. No, it pisses me off. Like, 3 levels I was done. I was like, no, this is. But I mean, some of them are okay.
You should play I Want to Be the Guy.
No. No, you shouldn't. It's like Super Meat Boy on crack.
So yeah, I think other than that, I'm trying to think what else I played here. Hold on, I got
played Borderlands, didn't you?
I played Borderlands like 2 weeks before. We went to an event in New York City, Tally and I, and we played Borderlands 2. I wrote up a pretty big preview on that on the site. They had the Gunzerker and the Siren class playable through 2 pretty big missions. It was set up actually on PCs, but playing with gamepads. So it looked really, really good. It's tough to say how it looked on an Xbox or something, but it looked really, really good on the PCs.
That's
I don't
sweet.
know, like it felt like the skills were more designed for co-op stuff. Like the Siren has the ability to basically raise a guy above the battlefield and hold him there in a giant blue bubble.
So crowd control.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the Gunzerker has lots of damage type stuff that you can do. And
Did you see that they announced that they're having DLC character classes after game's release?
Yeah, I did just catch that today. I guess
Mechgineer Cyborg Pigtail Girl.
Yeah, their panel was real late. It was actually like the last panel of PAX. So I kind of missed out on that. But,
one of the other things I think came out of that was that they said that each of the DLC packs was put together in under 8 weeks.
Yeah,
which was like kind of insane considering the size of some of them.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I mean, it's Borderlands. It's just really refined and polished, and yeah, we had a really good conversation with 2 of the producers, and they basically said like, in the first game we kind of teetered back and forth on like how we support single player and co-op, and blah blah, and they were like, for the second game we cared only about co-op, like. That was the way everybody played the game and enjoyed the game, and so they're like, it's perfectly playable in single player, but we wanted to make sure that co-op was like extra awesome this time.
Yeah,
so that was cool. That was cool to hear. And the other interesting thing they said was that they actually kind of designed the game for couch co-op first. Like even though it supports online, they said couch co-op was actually their primary concern, and they wanted that feeling of playing with a buddy on your by your side as like the focus of the game. So I thought that was
pretty
kind of
awesome.
Interesting. Yeah.
Did you get a release date for Monaco?
I didn't even his booth was mocked, but I did see he said that they just finished porting the whole game over to C++.
Oh, good.
So
and now that Fez has a set release date, he can now
yes, Monaco can.
It's looking really, really good. It's definitely cleaned up a lot and come a long way.
It has come a long way. It's like I've been following that game for 4 years.
Yeah, I remember I played it like 2 years ago.
Well, remember the build we got from him, like when we had him on the podcast back in the day. So
yeah, it was a great interview.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but so that was my my PAX East in terms of the one half I was doing, and the other half was trying to pimp Blue Shield Alliance.
Boom.
So that was kind of interesting because I had an enforcer actually email me when he saw me kind of mention it, and he said be careful because we're supposed to watch out for people soliciting stuff and blah blah blah. So, and that was kind of my whole concept of the show was I was just going to go to like gameplay areas and like try and drag people over to play it. So I did go to some areas and set up and play, but I didn't actively like hand people the promo cards and stuff like that and try and drag them over for fear of getting kicked out. So we only had a couple people actually play at the show itself. We had a bunch of people come up and watch, which was interesting. And I handed them cards and stuff then, but
I suddenly have this image of Nick like standing around and be like, "Hey, you like video games?
Hey, you want to come check this out?"
Yeah.
Hey,
I didn't
like
know how
playing co-op games, little boy.
What are you buying?
It helped that I had Kat there. I mean, it is as sexist as it is. Like, she volunteered to do it, and she volunteered to wear a tank top with sporting the BSA logo on it. So she was showing plenty of skin, which attracted plenty of eyes our direction, and certainly helped.
You consumer whore.
Oh.
But,
You heard it here first. Nick Paleo sold out to the man.
Yeah. So
yeah, unfortunately, he's not Instagram.
I think next show we just got to have tons of dudes in Speedos and
I know.
get them hawking the game wherever we go. And then,
We'll get you and Mike out there.
of course.
But then Saturday night, I had planned a little bit more behind closed doors get together for some friends and some press people and some devs and stuff, and that went really really well. A couple Colony Gamers community folks showed up.
Sweet.
We were supposed I did meet a couple Co-Optimus guys at the show, and they were going to end up coming, but last minute the guy was with his daughter and she ended up getting sick, so he couldn't come. But we had some press folks come. Phil Kohler came, which was pretty cool, and I got to talk to him about
The internet's Phil Kohler?
yeah, his new gig at Polygon. And
It's a website about video games.
I busted Chris Grant so bad for that. The way he did it was like so nonchalant. Polygon.
Video games. Hey.
Yeah,
The gifts that came out of that video were amazing, by the way.
Some of the robot entertainment folks showed up too, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
But yeah, it went really, really well. The feedback was pretty positive, as well as some good constructive criticism on some improvements and stuff. And ironically, most of the stuff people said was things that was like already on our to-do list. So I guess it's good to know going in the right direction with a lot of things. But yeah, it was a really crazy 2 days, and then Sunday I woke up and was kind of depressed. Like, it's like, I don't know. For so long I was looking forward to everything, and everything was hyped up, and then it was over, and it's just like, exhale.
Man.
You know what I do at that point in PAX? Drink more. Then
I drank plenty. I drank plenty through the whole show.
No, that's good to hear about both the games coming up and of course Blue Shield Alliance, because that's hitting this summer, Nick, or what?
Yeah, so I talked to Chris and Kelly Brown from the Married Gamers were there, and I did an interview with him and kind of told him in that we're shooting middle of June is at least the Xbox indie game release date, because we want to submit for Dream Build Play, and that's the cutoff time there.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of work yet to do, but it's mostly content oriented stuff. So for basically the next month we're going to be churning through stuff, and then it's going to be a lot of testing and iterating
and some work for me.
What's that?
I said, and some work for me.
Or are you doing all the voice acting, Jason? Is that what it is?
No.
No, he wants me to write up a thing, and it's like, you're going to have to wait until I'm done, dude. There's no time.
Can't wait. Anyways, that's sweet, man.
Yeah. So, I think that's just going to about wrap it up for this week.
On that bombshell.
We have some news. Was that?
And on that bombshell.
And on that bombshell, yes, there are some who say the only word I know is defenestrate. Anyway.
And you know 2 facts about ducks, and both of them are wrong.
Yes. So, we always talk about our mobile phone applications, and just
iOS
this past
app.
week, the iOS app finally launched. We have been promising it for how long? 18 months?
A long time.
We were promising it since before the first app launched, and so now there's an iOS app. It's called Co-Optimus. It's in the Apple App Store. It is free of charge. Please download it, and if you like it, give us a good rating. If you don't like it, take it to the forums and maybe tell us, what we could do to improve it. We have Windows Phone 7 and Android apps as well, so we cover basically every relevant phone. I'm sorry if you own a BlackBerry, but screw you. You can buy
We're
some
just
shirts
sorry
from our
that you
Split
own a
Reason
BlackBerry.
affiliate store. Was that?
I said, we're just sorry that you own a BlackBerry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your leash is complete. So you can buy shirts from our Split Reason affiliate store still. We have a few left. Leave us feedback on iTunes, and you can follow us on Twitter. We are Co-Optimus without the dash. If you would like to leave us a voicemail, the number for that is 646-926-6748. And unless anyone else has anything else to say, I'm going to say that we out.
See ya.
Peace.